This thing is so slow.
We are live. Grew a tash just for today, mate. Just for today. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Hoof. Hoof.
Evening, boys and girls, all you cool cats and kittens.
Love that.
How we doing, mate? You all right?
Good.
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 Yeah.
Feel good after last weekend, like having a run out after knowing that the scene at the minute is just so bleak. It was a really nice surprise. Really nice surprise.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Obviously, let's face it. Me and you've had other than our events, we've done nothing, right? Like really for about a year and a half. We've done the odd bit down the quarry here and there, but likewise, mate. You know, I thought I was going to be hurting for about 3 months after Splatoon. I didn't think I was going to end up in a wheelchair. But no, again, mate, a few aches and pains. Mainly where I've been shot as well. That's a bit sore. But no, pretty good. Yeah, felt lively. It's good. It was good. It was good to get out. And again, like you say, for us, it was just, you know, there was a few events on the horizon, I think, wasn't there? Like Milsim wise, or 8-hour day Milsim wise.
You can stop. Don't go any further. 8-hour Milsims do not exist. They're not real.
Stop.
That's a sleepover at Michael Jackson's house waiting to fucking happen. That's what that is.
But yeah, so I think, you know, for a long time, mate, me and you had kind of parked the idea of any sort of Milsim or Bapsim or whatever you call it, anything that involved taking more than one bag, right? So we parked that idea, and we were just, both of us were itching after seeing everyone go absolutely at it at Ruckers.
Yeah,
was very jealous that scratch, it needed an itching.
Yeah, I was super jealous. Like that site as well, annoyingly, is like one of my favourite sites. And it's like you watch people moving over the banks. I know Chloe and Jack were like sliding up and down. They just down tools and were just sliding up and down the gravel hills. The kids were doing that as well. And I was like, I want to play.
Please, sir, can I have a go?
Can I join in?
So
that was a little bit annoying. I just love the quarry so much, and not being able to actually get out and play was a bit painful. But we got, you know, it's one of them things. But the same as you, mate. I was itching to get out, So last minute call.
So yeah, obviously it was good. You know, we had a chat, we had a gas. It was like, well, there's a few games on the Saturdays and Sundays. But realistically, you know, we've been to Splatoon before. We saw they had a game day coming up. Spoke to Not So Tiny, who was as accommodating as always and managed to squeeze us on. So thank you for that, mate.
I think it's just he's massively scared of me. I'm just putting that out there.
I mean, mate. I mean, when
he sees my scale and just thinks I'm not having a bit of that.
I'm just saying, mate. When he picks you up with one arm, like about 4 foot off the floor, I did see him trembling a bit. Do you know what I mean? In fear of you. So
yeah, I thought that.
But I think if you'd have rocked this Tash on that Sunday, mate, it would have been a different story altogether.
Oh yeah. I think that would have been it. He would have been carrying away.
So no, man. Obviously, we made the call. To you know, there's a few sites out there that we could have gone to, but you kind of know what you're getting with Splatoon, right? You know where you're at. You know you've got, you know, that their setup's pretty slick. You know, there's none of this.
Slick. Yeah,
it's very slick, and especially now, their safe zone is completely covered. You know,
they just know how to do it. Yeah, it's a very well-oiled machine. That, you know, you queue up, you go through the little counter bit. You know, the toilets and those sorts of facilities are really good. And like to your point, you know, there's free tea and coffee at the end. There's a little counter there, hot food, all your cold beverages, chocolate bar snacks, and all those sorts of things. They just have everything catered for. It's just a very, like I say, well-oiled machine. Super slick. Yeah.
And again, you know, the safety briefs are short and sweet, as you can imagine they are with someone that size. He hasn't got to say a lot, has he?
No.
But no, it was good, man. Obviously, we rocked up there. I mean, I thought we got there early. I mean, I think you was there just before gates open. I got there bang on the gates open. And the car park was like already at what, 10 to 8, 5 to 8 was already full or nearly full. you know, I managed to squeeze it on the end. So yeah, man, props to them. It's always, you know, it's a good turnout.
It is a good turnout, and I think there's a few obviously reasons for that. Is like, you know what you're going to get, and I think that's the key thing. And also, the site is so much fun. Now, doing my Blue Peter thing, I thought about this earlier. So for the people that haven't seen what Splatoon's like, it's actually really difficult to explain and say, oh, there's containers and that, because it doesn't really say too much. But I have got this picture. It's like an aerial image. Now, fortunately, unfortunately, the site has actually dramatically changed since this photo was taken. There is now a bus that's there that isn't in this photo. There's now a couple of other higher platforms, like sniper platforms, and there's some lower bits as well. But it does. If look at the double stacked area towards the back.
Yes, mate. Yeah.
That isn't the only one, obviously. But he has obviously done a lot of work to change this up and make the site a little bit more playable. But this really does give you a good indication of kind of what it's like. Also, there's another thing to note here is that like the woodland around the outside is playable. So if you're a bit sneaky beaky, or if you like Alex, old Gilly Alex, wherever he is, always lurking around, then you know it's a really fun site to sort of transition between. Because if you just want to do the ham CQB stuff, then you can. At the same time, if you want to creep around through the woods, which we've done at night and at daytime, then that's a really good kind of like fun thing to do as well. And obviously you've got the kill house down the bottom and bits and bobs as well.
And so. I think, I don't know about you as well, mate, but obviously when you can see the two lines where obviously the you know the treed area or the forestry area meets the CQB zone. There's something about, mate, like when you're creeping through the woods, let's face it, like most of us, if not all of us, you know, we all started in like a woodland airsoft area or airsoft site, right? You know, we've all played woodland because that's all that there was really back in 1800 and frozen to death. Now, when you're creeping through the woods is fine, right? So you're kind of used to it. You're used to looking for trees, shadows, you know, heads, you know, any sort of outline. But mate, coming out of the woods into like this open CQB area, the same like about that gets the old nuts a twitching.
It does,
yeah, because you've really got to be on the ball, mate, when you come out of there. Because there's like, as you can see, there's so many angles. You know, high, low, you know, from doorways, pretty much everywhere.
Also, on this, mate, there's a lot of grass coming through, and now the whole site is gravelled. Now, people can go, oh, yeah, well, why is that important? And you can see here from the ground that's in the background picture underneath our feet. It means that the site is always really, like, well-dried. So I've been there when it's pissing it down with rain, and the rain doesn't stick around, doesn't puddle up very much. At the same time, I've been there sort of on them colder nights and whatever. It's just a really nice sort of area to play where you haven't got to worry about like fucking boggy marsh everywhere or big deep puddles or shit like that. You know, it's a pretty clean site. I did just see that Tiny has joined. I may or may not have said that you're slightly frightened of me. I'll just throw that out there. Next time I see him, crush me like.
Well, I like how you use two hands, mate. He just needs the one.
Are you sure? I mean, I am quite barrel-like.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's going to kill me. But the site really is cool. So hopefully you guys got a bit of a picture of what it's about. And it's, I think they forgot.
Also, mate, can we just take a moment to appreciate, because obviously, like this idiot here, actually didn't bring any lunch with him at all. I'm not, it's not that I'm downplaying skirmish sites food, but most sites you go to, they're like rat burgers. Do you know what I mean? They normally throw the nearest sort of like gutter rat into the pan, and that's it. But I forgot my lunch, didn't bring anything with me, so obviously I queued up. Obviously, if you imagine, there was what 120, 130 people there.
Maybe? Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
something like that. It was a lot. It was a busy day, you know. So I queued up to get some food, and mate, the queue was obviously, you can imagine, was quite long. I thought, I seriously messed this up now because I'm gonna be here for like best part of the lunch hour. But mate, like, how quick did those girls in the little canteen area like knock those burgers out?
Mate, they don't mess about. Again, it's like
churned it out.
Such a well-oiled machine. You know, people come away. You know, and to be fair, mate, I did see your burger, and I was like, shit, I missed out on that. By this point, you've queued for a little while. I was like, oh. The time was sort of a little bit past. We was having a good chat with the marshals. Another thing, very few sites I've ever been to has decent marshals that are actually approachable and don't get this like, I'm a marshal. I'm really fucking important.
I don't know if you...
Killer. But what a great group of lads that we were having a little gas with. Like,
they normally just sort of...
Oh, Richie's vanished. He's chasing a frog. A wild frog has
I don't know if I told you, but I'm a marshal. Just to let you know, I'm a marshal.
Oh, that's marshal.
I'm allowed to marshal. I'm allowed to shoot my gun at ever or wherever I want because I'm a marshal. I don't know if you can see, but do you know what I mean? Like, you're right, mate. Most sites, right. They have a massive chip on the shoulder, and feel like you have to bow down to them. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it was cool, man. Like at lunchtime, I had a good gas for them and
good lads.
Yeah, just down to earth guys, really.
Which is exactly what you want. You want to be approachable. You want to be able to have a gas with them, whatever. And like, there was definitely a few times during the day as well where I kind of like crossed paths with a marshal, or he was leaning out of the window, and I said, "Oh, mate, could you just like budge a bit or whatever?" And they were just really accommodating, and I think that is like testament to a good site. Or they're just completely frightened that Tiny would just crush them like a fucking quaver.
That's it.
God.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like again, the kind of setup there is so smooth sailing. You know exactly what you're going to get. It was a very busy day, but I had like no issues. And that sounds silly, but like with that volume of people, it was a warm day too. So that always for me, always an indicator that in the afternoon or some point during the day, someone's going to get a little bit hot and a little bit frustrated, and it starts to go a little bit wayward. I had no issues at all, none. Like hit taking was good. It was pretty tight and dicey at times as well. I definitely saw you get stuck in the kill house. That was sick. We've got that on your head cam, which we will show to the world. Richie's got a little gameplay edit for you guys that are watching, so that's really cool. But it definitely got super tight and dicey. I mean, I got to a point in one of the containers where I was in the container and the guy was on the other side of like a little wooden barrier, and we were both like ready to go at each other. So that was super good fun. You know, like when it gets that close, your heart definitely gets going. So it's super cool.
Yeah, but again, likewise, you know, obviously there was at one point I was having a good sneak through the woods, and you know, don't get me wrong, through the woods it can get tight because there's like some little windy tracks that are sort of now once you come to the sun, they're starting to get a little bit overgrown. So some of them you've really got to work for, and you know, look at the angle. But yeah, mate, even in the wood, and there's still some quite long engagement distances. You know, you can clip out to. You know, so it's not all you get. You really do get the best of both worlds. It's not just all up and close.
Just want to say also, we managed to bump into a shit ton of people while we were there. Like unexpectedly, I was kind of like queuing up, and I was like, "Oh, I know that person." And then Taskforce Bravo over there, which is like. They seem to be like the playboys at the moment. They're going to have their own calendar and T-shirts and socks and stuff coming out soon.
I think they're going to have their own their new OnlyFans coming out. I think once they turn 18, right?
They're a few years off having an OnlyFans, I think, mate.
It'll be like what's that? I favoured it on Netflix. It's that male stripper one. What's his name?
You favorited a male stripper on Netflix?
Yeah, who doesn't?
What male stripper on Netflix? I mean, where is it at?
It's a famous film, Timothy. It's a famous film. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, like so those lads were there. Houghton boys were there. Too many names to catch up on. To be fair, it was good though. It was good to catch up with some people.
It was good.
So, you know, we were bumping into lads, boys and girls. But we even said, you know, it was so good to catch up with people and actually gas, because obviously the ruckus, it was manic, absolutely manic. So yeah, it was good.
It was super good fun. So rolled in, saw everyone, got set up, got ready to go, raced through the brief. And we're lucky we went non-armbands, so that was pretty cool for the day to just get out there. At this point, Richie, do you want to? Should we show your footage? Should we show some of the helmet cam edit?
I think. Yeah. First of all, let's just real quickly before we do dive into it, let's just obviously address the elephant in the room: the fact that both me and you did the game day without a TM, without an NGRS. So I was running this bad boy, mate. So this is my it's a VFC base So the lower and upper and my second upper are all VFC. It is a version 2 standard, not standard gearbox, but version 2. Obviously, it's got gate tightening in it. Edgy barrel. It's got the works in it basically. And this thing absolutely performed on the day, mate. You'll see in the video, but the trigger response, the follow-up shots, everything for me. This was short, other than the bolt stop. For me, was absolutely phenomenal. And obviously, Timothy, you had your one, right?
Yes, I was running up this. This is my new little gadget. Absolutely love this thing.
Now, it's short and angry, just like you.
It is short and angry, just like me. Now, there's a few kind of like caveats here. One, this is a gun that was sent to me and Richie for us to sort of have a play with. This is the Cyma Platinum Edition that has been done as a limited edition in cooperation with Taiwan Gun. Now, I know these things are super hard to get hold of. A few people clocked it at the weekend and said, how the fuck did you get hold of one of those? In short, and when I told them I was sent it, I think a few people were sort of turned up. But this is a very, very cheap gun. A very cheap gun in regards of what we're used to using. Like, this was cheaper than the iPro that I was wearing on the day.
Yeah.
So there is that, right? But I decided to run out and just go, do you know what? Let's just go for it. I'm going to take it with me. Let's just take it and see how I get on. Now, massive thank you to the guys over at Vortex. They sorted me out one of these. This is the 2 MOA Vortex Viper. Absolutely awesome little sight, dialed in super quick. It's a bit low to the rail. I want to put it on a slight riser, but I didn't get one in time. But to help me get on target a little bit quicker, I side mounted the Purst on here, just so that I could put the laser on just in case, just to cut some of those tighter angles and to get onto target quick. Really, really impressed with this. I'll talk a little bit about this a bit more afterwards. But yes, we were both running AEGs for the day, which surprisingly wasn't anywhere near as painful as I expected. And also the shorter platform, after cutting about with the Scar L so much, was such a pleasant surprise. And you see sort of in the video in a few angles that are cut why that's good. Anyway, for the guys that are here, I will show you Richie's video, and then we'll talk through this afterwards. I love that, dude. Thanks for putting that together. So much fun. Yeah, it looked like that. That was close.
It's hard, man, because you obviously when you're looking down the red dot, obviously you can see the target like so clear. Like in that woodland, you know, when you see him just shooting at the bottom of a bush, you know it's like, right? You get the branches and the base of the trunk come up, and as it comes out, and it's get quite a nice gap. Then it also thickens up into the bush. Obviously I'm shooting at a guy's sort of like calves and sort of shins. Do you know what I mean? As they're moving across, but yeah, definitely I think need to invest in some run cams. I think, but yeah, super fun day. Like I say, hope that video kind of shows you the mixed bag we had. You know, we legged it to the containers. You know, then we cut through the woodland for a bit, and then back in the containers. Obviously, ended up in the kill house as you saw, which got a bit dicey.
Yeah, it was good. Like I say, I think there was a couple of bits, obviously, because we'd kind of chose to take different angles and approach the day slightly differently. But like from the start of every game, we sprinted to the middle of the site, like full sprint. And I think for me, that kind of began to set a bit of precedent for us throughout the day. And there's a part of that video, and obviously something that Richie highlighted to me quite early on, that I did sort of see throughout the day. And I think this is kind of like a wider topic of kind of how serious people would take their skirmishing. And obviously, like skirmishing's for like people who just want to plod or whatever. But we did sprint and get out there really quickly, and that put us at the front of the firefight, and that allowed us to sort of really have a tear up. What you see happening when at the start of that video, where me and Richie are back in, we've actually been to regen and we're coming back out. So we're kind of like pushing past all these people to try and like get to the front. And like what you can see a lot of people doing as we like go up through those containers is they're like standing gassing, right? So you've got like one man down in one of the shots, like on a knee shooting through a window, and you got two lads in the doorway just stood chatting. And I'm like, get out the way. And I think I see your hand be like, come on, mate, fucking move. You know, like it just like crippled me throughout the day that I spent so much time with like guys that just stood in the corner holding their gun. They've got like 4 or 5 guys in front of them. And I'm like, well, you can either stand there until one of those guys are dead and medic them potentially, right? But not get the kills yourself, or you're going to be in a position of someone is going to come in and shoot you. Like you're going to wait until all those guys have been cleared out, and you're just going to wait for that one opportunistic moment to have a shot on someone. And it didn't grip me to the point where I was worried about it, but it was definitely something I was conscious of. I spent so much of my time throughout the day being like, what are you doing there, mate? He's like, and I'm like, by the time they've begun to stammer and decide like what the response is, I'm just trying to squeeze past them to get to that front part of the firefight to have a tear up. It was like saying, even like the Taskforce Bravo lads mentioned this like a couple of times. Like we were legging it to the front, and they were like having to push past people to get on a window to start putting rounds down, because people were just sort of stood there, like gun dangling in the doorway or something. And it was like a bit weird that I'm like, I think what they're expecting to happen. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think it's like anything, right? You get safe and you get comfy. So the amount of times we saw guys, you know, we sprinted to that sort of that middle area, and you know, with Splatoon, if you kind of get that high ground and you get some good angles, not saying it's impossible to take because we have taken it before, but it's definitely harder, right, to take that higher container area if you've got all the windows covered. I remember I think the Grey Fox boys locked that down once on one game, and it was hard. I mean, we got there in the end, but I think we did take it. But yeah, I think guys, what they tend to do, they tend to sort of get a post on the window, they get some nice elevated ground, some good cover, some good angles, and go, right, well, this is me. I'm going to stay here because I'm not going to get shot. I'm going to get loads of kills, and that's it. Like they don't want to push. I mean, do I get it a little bit? I mean, why would you want to push? Because you're nice and safe, right? But then you're not going to win anything by doing that. You're not going to put yourself in a position, you know, where you can get some really nice, you know, kills, some good action, some good, you know, force on force action, and you're not going to get tested at all, really. You know, you're just going to sit there and plot up in a nice bit of cover. So I do get it, but yeah, it was frustrating because you're not downplaying. Like everyone's paid their money. Everyone's paid their money. You can do what you want to do, but if you're stopping me from doing what I want to do when I pay my money, that's a problem.
Yeah,
you know, not going to be an arsehole about it, but just like you say, just coming through. If you want to stay there, stay there. Back up. You know.
Yeah, we at one point as well, we were in the top set of containers fighting the other way towards the police station, and we sort of pushed all the way through, and there was a geezer with like it was some sort of like SVD, AK long, you know, like Russian like recoiling DMR. Don't know what it was. He had this window locked. I mean, I was watching for a little bit because I'd not seen the gun before. It's quite unusual. If you are in here, I have no fucking clue what it was, but it looked like an SVD. But he had irons on it, and he was just clapping people. You could hear one round going out. They heard the little recoil of his gun. Someone go, medic, and you're like, fuck. And then he was just really rinsing. So like other people were like queuing around him to get to this window because he was getting kills, rather than going like, that guy's got that covered. Like, I'm not going to do a better job than that dude. I need to fucking move somewhere else. So when I come back through into there just to get the last of the Taskforce Bravo guys up with me and to sort of squeeze and past people, like, he was still there, and there must have been a queue of 4 or 5 people just stood there behind him with their guns dangling, expecting to have the same experience once he's been hit. And I was like, there's lots of other shit you could be doing. Like, that guy's doing well at that window because of the position he's in his platform. Don't expect to have the same experience once he magically fucking dies. It was just weird. Yeah, it was just weird. So we pushed right up the front. Gunner Ross and me and the Taskforce Bravo guys were in that top window overlooking the set of stairs, and we just had a fucking riot. Pyro and all sorts of shit going out the windows. It was so much fun. We had a couple of bits of pyro get posted up the stairs, and obviously the infinite medic rule was awesome. So we all, you know, managed to get a medic in from the other room, get everyone medicked back up, and just continue the firefight. Getting down those stairs and out is incredibly tough because the stairs for one are so steep. So getting down them quickly without stacking it is pretty tough. But we managed to get all the guys out and down, and then, you know, start pushing around the sides of the police station. And again, it got really tight. But yeah, it was definitely weird. Like, I kind of approach skirmishing the same way as I approach like a milsim or a bigger event. I'm like, I'm there to be active. You know what I mean? Like, so we were running, we were fucking going for objectives. I remember you going over the comms to me, Tim, get to the kill house. I was like, all right. I fucking was at the upper end, ran through the top floor of all the containers, come down. I think I was just behind Bulldozer, who sort of pushed out in front of me. And I think that's when he come to the kill house just before me, got hit. And then I come in and skirt around the side to post the banging. But it was definitely good fun. Like, I can't fault that, you know, and if those guys want to play that way, then it's really down to them. But it's just not a bit of me. I'd rather be sort of racing around all over the place.
Yeah, and I think, like, you know, without you know, blowing our own trumpet, but you going back into, I mean, going back into that sort of like skirmish level, right? Because let's face it, we've done a lot of milsim. We're not saying milsim players are better or any worse, but I'm just saying, like, you get the skirmish mentality, right? And having been around as long as we have, you kind of get to know a thing or two. So that, in one of the clips in there, I was in the container, right? I've got to the door and I'm just coming out, and you see me sort of, you know, edge the door, and opposite the container, there's a guy on the opposite side of the container. He's poking out as well. We've had an exchange. The rounds have both missed each other. Now for him, he's thought, right, I'm going to stand there and wait till he pokes his head out again. I'll be ready for it.
That's when he fixates on the door and you go to the window, right?
Exactly. But I know full well, hopefully he's going to stay where he is. And two, I'm not only going to be firing from a different position, I'm moving as well. And mate, exactly that. I just moved right to left, and, you know, obviously some hit the mesh, but about 2 or 3 rounds went through, it did clap. So it just goes to show you always have to think, like, if you want to win and you want to be good, you always have to just think outside the box, move, shoot, move and shoot, you know.
Yeah.
And likewise, when we got to the kill house, you know, obviously you had that as you're looking in the door, you had that from my left-hand angle. You had your 12 covered. I'm looking at that door, but obviously for you it's perfect because you're shooting right. But I'm a right, so I need to switch to the left.
Yeah.
And again, you see guys slowly come round, expecting to see let's face it, if you're here, right, expect to see this much sort of come, do you know what I mean? Be exposed.
Yeah.
They're not expecting to see someone on a left with their wing tucked like all the way in like this.
Love that, yeah.
So all you've got is basically you should have your knuckles. Let's get the camera. Knuckles, eye, optic, muzzle. That's it, right? You shouldn't have anything else poking out. So yeah, it just goes to show, mate. Like, you know, training, practicing, you know, and putting it to work. It just comes off. It does come off, and it was a good day. But I was glad that we got back out there after a year and a half, and you've still kind of got that muscle memory still intact.
Yeah,
you know, there were definitely some fun would make changes and stuff. There was stuff that could be polished up, like the fundamental which is that was I was super happy with.
Yeah, I think there's another bit where me and you push through the container in that bit of footage, and I just go down low because Ross is shooting diagonally out that way, so we're going to shoot kind of diagonally underneath. As soon as I hit that corner, you're on my outer right side. So, you know, because that's such an expanse of containers, there's 5-6 windows, right, that are all visible from that point. It's another, like, just key characteristic of working with someone, but also knowing the site. There's no way I could have covered that whole flank. So I go down, drop really nice and tight on the barricade. I know then that I've got your muzzle coming past my right arm. We've got as much of that covered as possible. As soon as we had some sort of confirmation that that was covered, that area, the next bit of footage is us dashing across, because we peppered, I think, one of the guys in one of the windows. He's turned around and started going back through the container. So we've taken that opportunity for him to be moving to cut across the fucking bridge. And then you can hear the rounds going out as we've pushed through that. I just think to myself, like, we won all the games of the day. And that's not like bullshit. Like, we absolutely trounced the other team, trounced them to the point where I thought, hold on a minute, they're like in their spawn, like back to their spawn after maybe 10, 15 minutes. And we were at the very front. So when we're coming down those stairs shouting and hollering and I'm doing my little skip, we had pushed from like one of the far sides of the site all the way through, taken all of the objectives from the site and was holding the middle of the site, covering the guys that were going to try and push through to get to our helicopter to steal our shit. They didn't get any of it. We had everything. They were pushed beyond their spawn backwards. You know, and again, when we're sort of fist bumping at the end, we've gone through, cleared the whole site, come back, held, let them come through, and then cleared them again. And then that was it, game over. Like, it was another really kind of prompt show of good capability. And I think someone was saying in here, it was Matrix Ninja, he said lots of new players and rentals on the yellow team stood around gassing or right at the back of the map to save getting hit. And I think that's probably a bit of a concern too. I will say, though, we actually had a load of rentals on the non-armbands. Dad was on. He was a rental. And there was a couple of other guys as well that were rentals on our team. What we did with them is made sure that they stuck with an experienced group of lads. So we took one of the Taskforce Bravo's lad's dad with us and pushed him right to the front. He actually clapped the HVT in the last game that we did. So I think it's sometimes not ignoring the fact that people are just stood talking. It's like saying, guys, let's go. Giving them that opportunity to come with you rather than being like, oh, there's 4 guys stood there chatting shit. I really tried to push a lot of people to the windows and to the fronts, and to kind of, if they were stood chatting, I was like, mate, get on that window. And just that tiny bit of encouragement forces them out of like a media.
And I think some of it can be misconstrued, right, as you're barking orders and telling people what to do. But you're absolutely right. Some people do just need a bit of direction and a bit of sort of gum, because we saw that at Ruckus. Just quickly, just before we get too far in, just a big shout out to everyone that's, you know, tuned in and locked in. Johnny Green, JTAC, Winks, Mondo, everyone that I can't scroll back up and see, but thanks for joining. Mate, Mondo's comment, CQB is all about angles, feet, hips, support hand, sights and eye. Absolutely bang on, mate. I love this guy. Some solid info, mate. Yeah, it's hard because you know we had a real mixed bag there on that day.
Massively mixed bag, yeah.
Massively mixed bag. There was some real sort of people, good sort of seasoned guys. There were some people there who say they're good, and there were some people that that look clearly brand new to it or pretty fresh. But straight off the bat, I will say some of the hit taking on that day was the best I've seen in a long time. So unfortunately, I didn't get it on camera, and this is where I wish I had a run cam, right? So if you imagine, I'm in that container that you see me with a mesh window. Basically, about 30 something meters in front of me, there's another container at sort of side on, right, with the door open. The other side of that is the helo, which is the one in the picture in the background.
Do you want me to try and talk through this? Do you want me to put the picture up so you can try and talk people through it? I don't know if the site will be the same now.
I am basically, so the white container, top middle left.
Yeah.
At 45 degrees. So I think I'm in the blue container.
You're in the blue one. Yeah.
So I'm in the blue one, right? The green container to sort of like the 1 o'clock position. Near the helo, okay, right? That's where I'm aiming down. The guy is the other side of the helo, right?
Fucking hell, mate, that's good distance.
Yeah, right. Now the door on that green container is actually open, and you've basically got, but bear in mind they're shipping containers, right? So it's not like a crack in the door. It's about I was going to say 2 inches.
Yeah.
I mean that's 2 inches, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're talking about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, mate. So a couple of rounds down, and obviously I tried to get it through. I thought I'm never going to make this. Tried to get it through the gap in the door. Anyway, the wind was whipping just a little bit. So as you do, you turn your gun sort of 45 degrees, not quite 45, like a 135, just to get that whip so it whips up and not straight up, but up and to the right.
Yeah.
Mate, this one round went from the blue container, through the gap in the door in the green container, and hit the guy by the helo, mate. One round, he put his hand straight up. Didn't even look around, didn't even question it, mate. So
fair play.
And that was just one example, mate. Like the hit taken was absolutely on point, absolutely bang on. And he looked like quite a fresh player as well. I don't mean that in a bad way, but he wasn't dripping and crying. It's sort of like joggers and a black top. So,
mate, I love that. I mean, I'm the same, mate. I caught a few people where we'd moved up so quickly. There was a few guys, obviously, where they didn't expect us to have gone and got all the way through the containers and literally to the kill house side of the site from the opposite site so far. So you had a few guys that were walking up behind the kill house just gassing, guns hanging, just chatting shit, expecting this to be a bit of a slow game. And I think it was one of the Taskforce Bravo lads copped them on a wicked angle from quite far back, back containers. And I heard the gun blip off, cut the rounds, and both of the lads had put hands up and taken it. So he's literally just, because they were so close, obviously just put a load of rounds out. And like I say, just really good caliber of player on the day. I can't speak for everyone's experiences then, but I had some really tight tear-ups, obviously being in the containers a lot, orchestrating a load of people, pushing them to the front. And then when I could, then once I felt like that was set and comfortable, as a lot of people covering all angles, kind of pushed down the stairs and then started pushing a bit further forward, towards the kill house with you. And again, I went a couple of rounds into the woods. I had a couple of really longer shots. Bearing in mind, guys, the barrel on this thing, I just can't. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you a picture on my phone, but the barrel on this is shorter than the barrel in my pistol. It's tiny. It's this long.
Yeah.
Diddy. It got some fantastic range out of this. I think we were both really impressed with this as a platform. Yeah,
I mean, for the length of barrel, if you said to me, right, you can have a gun that costs this much, and the barrel is this big, it's shorter than your pistol, I've got to keep it. Don't want it. Not interested.
Yeah, not there.
Not because let's face it, physics, bro. It's not going to happen.
This is it, right? So that's it in my hand. So it's literally the length, from there to there. It's tiny little barrel. Diddy. So it worked really well. I can't. Did it perform the same way as some of the really high-end stuff that I've got? No. Was it disappointing? Not at all. Not at all. There's a lot of pull on the trigger, and I think we've spoke about this before. The trigger seems to pull for a mile. it pulls for such a long way. And that is slightly frustrating because I'm so used to my SCAR being like, dip, dip, dip.
But mate, if that's all you can pick up on,
that's
on
pretty much it.
Yeah, you know. I mean, I saw you licking rounds out of that, and obviously I remember standing behind you at the range. You're like, mate, I've not even done the hop, I've not done anything to it. I need to dial it in. You literally went, and this thing just went. I mean, I think it had a bit of extra lift, right?
Over hop, yeah.
Over hop, but you know, the thing was still going out there. Yeah, very impressive. Yeah. Very impressive.
And fun. Like, there's definitely like less of a concern cutting about with something also with this length, especially at that site. Like, I've bashed the SCAR out there quite a few times, going up and down the stairs, in and out of the doors, on a few of the doorways. So I'm cutting a really tight angle, like you say, and I'm pressed right in, and the platform's against like a doorway or an edge or whatever. But yeah, it was like pretty seamless. There's a few things about the AEG platforms that me and you have spoken about before, like definitely the bolt stop and the stopping on the magazine being empty. It's just such a nice feature. But also, if you do shortchange your magazine, that BBs fall everywhere. And being a bit OCD, I just don't like it. Whereas with the TMs, they just don't. They feed sort of neatly into the hob.
I mean, obviously, you know, I've had this thing for years. I think we even had a bit of a laugh and joke that this gun's probably older than all of the lads in Taskforce Bravo, right? But you know, I mean, obviously for me, I'm used to a couple of BBs falling out. I'm used to listening to the noise when the mag run is dry. But that's just because I'm used to it, you know. Obviously, I know you haven't run an AEG for absolutely years.
5 years.
And again, you know, it's great. I quite like this because me and you do have varying opinions on a few things. Now, obviously, if you look at the length of this, I think this is the 13-inch.
Yeah.
I think it's the 13-inch VTAC battle upper. So it's not the shortest gun in the world. I do have a 7-inch upper to go on this to make it even shorter for night time. But for me, mate, you know, I love this gun. For me, that front grip here, that for me, that there, and that, mate, that is uber maneuverable. You know, as you saw in the video, I went into the kill house, didn't even think, muscle memory from a bump, out of the sling, left shoulder, done. And it does just sit like really nice. You know,
I did say to a few people, I saw you cut some moves throughout that day that I didn't even mention that I'd seen. I just saw them and instantly was like, yeah, just going to forget that and never mention that ever again. And I sort of was having this gas with Brooksy, of all people, and we were chatting. He said, how did it go? And I said, it was good. He said, how did you get on? Obviously, knowing you both haven't played in a long time. I said, yeah, I felt okay. I mean, it's a brand new platform for me. I've never run an MP5 before. Getting used to the angle of the mags going in, and also the mag release. Sorry, I keep going to the wrong camera. Is here. And it's ambi, it's quite nice, but obviously you've got your top little push button there, but this is the lever that's been added. And just getting used to that again, mate, was, you know, something new for me. But I definitely saw you cut some annoying shit while I saw you doing stuff. You know, the transitions look nice and fluid. I think at one point you were sort of lent in a really like fucking weird angle, looking out of the window and slightly down, and your angle was just so neat, like so like in line with the window, but you probably had your barrel maybe 4 or 5 inches back and maybe just enough over that the BB isn't going to click. I know that if I tried the same shit, I'd have hit the fucking door frame, like back smashed loads of people, but it was just so neat. He was like still in the window. So many people tend to put their muzzle out the window and then lean out, and you know, you're just target like bait for getting clipped up. But I saw you just cook this fucking brilliant angle and slot a few people from up the top early in the game. And I just thought, you know, that sort of stuff just hasn't gone for you. Like, it's not left your head. Do you know what I mean? It's not like something that's just gone, oh, I need to practice to be able to do that.
I'll be honest, I was genuinely a bit worried as to obviously not having played actively in so long. I was like, it's a bit of pressure here, lads. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, for myself, you know, is to really sort of make sure that, like you say, it's all still there. You know, the muscle memory's still there. You still, you know, obviously it's harder for you because, you know, I've run this gun for years, so I know exactly where that magwell is every single time. Whereas you run the MP5, it's a lot harder. you know, something new, something fresh. You've got to get your head around, and the mags are super hard to change on an MP5. I don't care what anyone says. It's, you know, being an M4 mag, they're that much wider to get a good grasp on. But
yeah, these are. I'm going to grab one. Yeah, they're quite tight, and obviously this sounds a bit innuendo-ish, but the actual box to get this in is there's no leeway, right? I mean, on my Scar and on my 416.
I think it's got a tight box.
Oh, it's got a tight box. I'll just finger the box a little bit for you, just so you can see. But like, you know, all of the other magwells I've got are slightly flared. There's no flaring on this. It's literally, as you know, that's it. It goes in. There's no wiggle room there at all. It's in there tight. So it's not even like the magwell's flared enough for you to be able to just go, oh, I'll get it somewhere close and it'll feed itself.
Again, that whole movement that you've done there, obviously you grab the mag and use your thumb to break it.
Yeah.
But then, obviously you've done that, right? But then where does this go? Where does this mag go? Do you know what I mean? You've always got to like dump out that and then grab a fresh one, because you can't have a mag in your hand.
You can't do a 45 on these.
No.
You can't go dink, dink. It just doesn't work. The angle's weird.
So, yeah, it's hard. It's hard. But one thing
I was actually doing that weird swap that you've done a couple of times before, where I've got the fresh one out and I've kind of done that. I'm going to have to get another one.
He's called it on now.
Sorry. I've done that sort of thing.
He's got to flick it a lot, 45 degrees into the next counter.
I've done that.
Yeah.
So I've kind of like got the fresh one out. If this is it, I'm going to fuck this up now, and I say, so I've gone up like that, gone like that, and then, do you know what I mean? Is it perfect? No. It trying to keep the change all in one fluid motion. I know that there's going to be some MP5 like fucking nonce out there that's going to go, oh, we have to do it this way and whatever. But it works. You know, I just was sitting them side by side. I could kind of picture it, and then...
But yeah, one thing I do want to talk about is obviously, you know, I don't know how many rounds we put down. I'll have to check the mag counter on the Titan. But I'm going to say, what do we do? 1,000 rounds each?
Did we finish that bottle?
Pretty much, I think, yeah.
So, what is one of those bottles?
Don't know.
Oh, shit, there's a lot of rounds in there. 3,600.
Wow. Okay, yeah.
And also, I've done both my speed loaders.
Yeah.
Well,
so we were actually using these, the Vortex.
Very impressed.
Sounds like a Russian submarine, right?
Zaborski. I'm not used to putting small things in big holes. No, I put big things in small holes. Look at this dash, mate. Of course I do.
Like squeezing a flump in a keyhole.
Forcing a steak by the caterpillar.
Yes, I mean, obviously, so diverting slightly, those BBs, so we were both running 2.5s, right? Yeah. I found them very good, you know, no flyers as such, nothing left to right. Pretty good BB.
This is a fact.
Mate, if you had a gun that had this rate of fire, you'd do the same as well. I know
it's ridiculous.
But yeah, so I just want to talk about, obviously, the good thing about these, mate. Obviously, I know this is a lot more than your MP5 cost, right? So you're probably looking at about 300 and something, 350 quid, 380 for the VSC build with your second upper. Plus all the work I've had done inside. So I don't know, call it 500 quid. Maybe? Is that a fair assumption?
I have no idea. I know nothing about AGs. Like literally,
let's say 100 quid for the Titan, 100 quid here and there. Let's rent up to 500, right? So this is still nowhere near what TM's going to cost you, right? Now the good thing about these AGs that I do love, and this is why I'll always go back to this for a skirmish day, is you can put 2,000-3,000 rounds a day every Sunday through this thing, right? If it wears out or goes back, it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg to replace. Yeah. And to get it back up and running, right? If you, like with yours, Tim, if you fell over, which I have done before, fell over and I sheared my M4 here, on the back casing.
Yeah.
I've sheared it there. You know, you've only lost a couple of £100. It's not like like an £800 gun.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to be said for having a workhorse on a Sunday. Having a workhorse on a Sunday and having your high spec gun for it.
Yeah, and I think that, do you know what, like we were talking about this, and I said to Richie on the drive up there, I haven't even brought my Scar with me, and he was like, really? I was like, yeah, because it's my comfort zone. You know, it's like going to the track in a new car or going to the track in the car that you've been taking to the track for the last 5 years. There's something about that level of comfort. I know my Scar so intimately, it's fucking weird. Like to the point where when I had my Titan changed, my Titan, my gun serviced, they took obviously the Titan apart to open the gearbox up and all that sort of shit, and they changed to put a new spring in for my trigger. And when I went back and picked it up, I was like, oh, my trigger feels stiffer. And they were like, yeah, we put a new spring in your trigger for you. And there was like, no one would notice that. No one. You know, so I know that gun really well. So I was really scared about running something completely new at a day, first time back, haven't played in ages, lots of high expectations. I really wanted to go and have a good time. And running out something completely new, I was a bit like, fuck, am I doing the right thing? But by not bringing it, it forced me to use this. And I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Definitely will run this out a few more times. And again, it's a very cheap gun overall, but also being a V3 gearbox, the parts and bits for them like fucking readily available. Like they're available everywhere. Like, and most people can rebuild these. Now, being the fact that this has the V3s have a quick change system for the spring, means you can put the gearbox, like take it completely apart, and it's not like the V2s. You know, you had to like put the spring in and then quickly clam it. With this, you just take the spring out. I could probably rebuild this thing myself, or I'd at least have a go at it. The fact it's got a MOSFET trigger and all those sorts of things simplify a lot of the internals. So, yeah, I can't wait to run this thing out again. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
It looked like a lot of fun. So regarding other new kit that we run out on Sunday, I think the other big talking point for us is comms, right? As well, comms/ear protection. Yeah. So obviously, really, anyone that's at Ruckus know that I wore this.
Richie, I'm going to leave you to quickly talk through your lid. I'm going to very quickly grab a beer. Is that all right?
Yeah, can you grab me one as well, please, mate?
I will.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. So anyone that was at Ruckus will know that I wore this pretty much all day. It wasn't just to be Gucci and be cool, because I really wanted to try these out. I was so keen, rather than just running around the house to see what these were actually like. Now, obviously, these are the M32X from Oxman Tech/Earmore, same company. But these are the Mil Pro versions, so these are the upgraded versions. Now, obviously, Sunday at Splatoon was really the first day like I've actually used these in anger, and I said to Tim, obviously the previous versions of Earmore I had the M32s, standard M32s. I think I went to the Grey Fox event, Purple Rain, I think it was. Quite hot, had them over ears on pretty much all weekend, sweating. Obviously, moisture built up inside the cup, and it must have just blitzed the electronics on them, because I think it was something like 4 o'clock in the morning, I decided to die whilst out and off. I was like, well, that's handy. So when I was at Splatoon, obviously it was quite warm, a lot warmer than we expected it to be. I called it on, I think it was on the Thursday. I said to Tim, he's like, what are you wearing? I said, well, I'm just going to rock like whatever it is, trousers, black trousers, and like a t-shirt. He's like, a t-shirt? Are you sure? No, we'll wear jackets. I was like, no, I want to wear a t-shirt. Man, I'm so glad I did, because it's hard to buy. So Sunday at Splatoon, obviously I had these on all day, and I was sweating out. I was, because I've put on a ton of weight over lockdown, and it's got to go somewhere. But yeah, so even though I was sweating, the cup's still looking good, Nick. All the electronics still work, the ambient, your noise cancelling, good comms were good. Obviously, I don't think we had an issue all day, did we, really, Tim, comms-wise? Things were clear as a bell.
Yeah, absolutely squeaky clean. I'll put this out there. I've never, ever liked over-ears, ever. And I've tried loads of different headsets. And And people have said different shit. Oh, you've got to try this or try gel cups or whatever. I just don't like over ears at all. But again, I put myself in the position. Richie's got the helmet mounted headset, and I've got like the headband headset. Again, they've got some really, really nice cups on them. They're not quite gel material.
No.
But they are very soft and almost like, I don't know, they feel cold. Maybe they are gel, but they are super, super comfortable. And I wore these for the whole day. Again, I haven't got loads of hair to absorb all of the sweat. So I end up like a fucking baby oil covered pool ball after not too long. So for these things to move about and slip off my nut could probably be pretty simple, but they didn't budge all day. The comms were super clear. Also, we did use a little bit of pyro, just a tiny bit, and cut off audio clarity, and everything was really good.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, I think I was stood at the shooting range bit just outside the safe zone, and I actually had to turn these down a little bit because someone had an AG next to me, like the ones that like sound like they're like clapping.
Yeah.
Like the piston heads hitting the cylinder, like the top of the cylinder so hard, it's like clap, 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 clap. It was actually making these cut out. So it's just, so if you just turn it down one notch, fine. But yeah, just saying about the gel cups, mate, or not gel cups. The
are they gel?
I don't know, mate. To be honest with you,
mine feel cold.
Yeah,
like, they wouldn't feel cold if they were not gel.
I found that, like, rather than trying to, and I've got really weird shaped ears, so this is a perfect example, right? So rather than trying to go over your ear as such to encompass the ear, they sit on it, like on it like that, and because they are really, really soft. It just felt nice, mate. I felt like I was getting a little ear hug. It was amazing. But again, I don't know. I will try and show you guys the kind of articulation on these. So obviously, once they're in, pull it down there. And the good thing I like about these is I don't know who designed the spring on this, but it's just enough that you don't get that horrible pressure on your ear. So bear in mind once it's on your ear, I won't do it. But not only is it, you can move that up and down. He says it is super stiff because it's still new. So you have that, so you can move this up and down. So up and down your ear here. You can also twist this. I know some of you like the boom mics to come up and over and down, like the old school, like Green Berets used to do, like up and over here. Some like it coming down, so you can actually twist that if you want to. But then also you have that articulation that way.
Yeah.
So so many points of movement.
I must admit, mate, after running it for the weekend, I've actually changed my comm setup, as you know, on my new rig based on the fact that I really enjoyed wearing these. And then for other ops, JCI's obviously built me other bits, but I am really, really impressed with these. I've got to admit, like, really impressed with them. And again, from someone who I really fucking can't stand over ears, I wore these from the whole day, and not even like just creeping around your average milsim, right, where you're going to do a little bit of high speed stuff, but most of the time you're just sort of plodding. I was sprinting about in these like mad, and didn't have any problems at all. Again, loads of adjustment on them, fit nice and comfy. The sound isolation is really good. With this Tash, it sounds like I'm going to be some sort of sports commentator.
It actually does.
But yeah, they were double good. Even the sound isolation on them just then is so good.
And I think, like,
I'm really impressed with these. I know they're expensive, right? I get it. They are pricey.
But it's because of the Milko version, right? But again, I guess the only other real test for me that was quite nice was when I was wearing them at Ruckus. Obviously, anyone was there the wind was howling that day. I don't know what it was. It was like 24, 26 kilometers an hour. It was actually whipping. But again, your ambient noise, I'd wind whipping past these. You don't get the horrible where it's trying to cut out the noise, the wind noise, So, super, super impressed with these. Really, really impressed. And one thing I did notice as well, obviously, when I store them up and over on the lid. Yeah. Like that. So they're up and out of the way.
Yeah.
And again, so I that's how I store them. So I just want to treat these not like dirt, but you know what I mean. I want to be able to put them away and not go, oh, I've got to be careful with them in case I break them. You know what? If they break, they break. It just goes to prove something, right? But I've left these like this for about since Sunday. Obviously, previous time before that, since Ruckers, and obviously the cups, the little soft rubber cups, no marks, no tears, nothing. You know, normally when you see indent and it doesn't sort of pop
proper
back.
indented.
Yeah. So I'm super happy.
I mean, I've left mine like this, you know, in the bottom of a bag since the weekend. And again, was really impressed. Also, just the quality of the cables. It's a big step up from their last set of ear protectors.
Yeah.
Now, they are a lot more expensive. I get it. People say to me, oh, I don't know if I'd want to spend that sort of money on, you know, Opsman, Earmore, whatever. Would you recommend them? Now, bearing in mind, I'm not really a great bench test for this because I haven't used lots of over-ears. I've tried lots on, but I haven't used them for extended periods like Richie has. But what I can say is from using them at the weekend, doing lots of high-speed shit, you know, cutting about like a nutcase, sweating like crazy, you know, throwing loads of bangs about, they were very, very good. Like really, really impressive. So again, I'll run them out a little bit more. Still trying to get used to the whole over-ear thing, but they were decent. They were good enough.
It's a bit foreign for you, that whole over-ear thing, and obviously I run them on and off for a couple of years now, and obviously not been too happy just because of the quality of the ones I've had before. But these do seem quite nice. Again, you know, time will tell whether they fail within 3 months or 6 months, but we'll see. Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
I've seen a few people asking about Splatoon, saying they haven't been there. Is it worth the trip? Is it worth the journey? You know, people talking about going over. Do you know what? I highly recommend it, and I don't just say that lightly. I genuinely would tell people to go there. You know, if you do want to hire and you want it to be your first time, it's also a really good place to go. At the same time, if you want to go cut shoulders, you want to practice transitions, you want to go there to brush up on some shit, you're not going to get a better site layout-wise because it gives you everything you want to do. You want to bust about through the woods and try some more like rurally, you know, like sort of stuff. You can do that. At the same time, you can spend the whole day in and out of the containers, up and down the stairs, in, you know, between all of the containers, swapping shoulders, high, low, windows, all that sort of thing. You know, it's not consistent. There's little low windows where you can be really set back from them so you can practice your loophole shooting. Got big, really high up windows. Some of them you're going to have to really sort of lean over into. Some of the doorways, it's such a diverse site. It's definitely worth having a little visit. Definitely worth a visit for the guys that are asking.
That last comment, lol. Have you been to Anzio camp? Yes, we have.
Yes, we got banned.
we got banned within about an hour
by some fucking absolute burk. Worst marshalling I've ever come across, by a long way.
If you haven't already, go to our playlist. The video's in there. It'll tell you all about it. It'll tell you just what an absolute shower of shit that place is.
You can watch some of Richie's. Luckily, Richie was running a helmet cam and caught the confrontation with the marshals. I didn't have one on. I fucking wish I did because the way I was spoken to was jokey.
And caught a marshal cheating. So
caught a marshal cheating. Yeah.
There we go. Doesn't get much lower than that. I mean, lower than a worm's tits.
It does not. So, like, again, I think a few lessons learned from this weekend, mate. For me, it felt like ELM totally with that. You know, it really did feel like a good brush up on some skills. I really enjoyed the run out. It was great seeing people. There was definitely still like that thing in my mind of like people stood in the fucking safe zone with their hands in their pockets. You know, and I've seen a few people message about it over the last couple of days, and I've had a few comments with different people that said, "Oh, you know, how do you turn around to someone, you know, a mate, a teammate, or whatever, and say, look, like, fucking, let's go." Like, how do you kind of push people? And again, like Richie mentioned earlier, it's tough. Like, it's really tough.
So me and you had a conversation about this the other day, right? In the fact that you can try and whether you just turn up to a skirmish day or whatever, to a military, wherever you go, right? You turn up by yourself. You can either try and gel with people, and you'll very quickly realise, okay, that you're either on the same page or you're not. Now this same goes for people being in the team. Just because you got a an Instagram page, just because you have a patch and a team name, you ain't shit, right? Unless you can work together and you're all on the same page. But I think, and we spoke about this, right? You will very quickly, within a few events, realise who's on board and who's not, because you'll gravitate like towards the people that are like-minded and will push with you. Whereas the people that go, oh no, I think I just want to stay here, or no, I'm knackered, blah blah. And you'll start to pick your little groups, and this is how teams are formed normally, right?
Yeah.
Teams are formed because people are like-minded, they push in the same direction. It doesn't always work, but I would say, just me and you have been there, Tim. Don't waste time. If people are not on your page, mate, and a wise man once said, if you're not rolling with people that pull you up to to their level, don't hang around with them. You're just wasting time, wasting everyone's time.
Yeah, and I definitely saw that between like a few of the badge and teamed and grouped people over that weekend. You've got a few guys stood around fucking, hands in pockets, chatting shit, and then you've got some other people. I can't even say who it was because it would throw the team under the bus. But there was like two particular individuals from that team, literally at the front, like fucking going for it. One of them I watched cross cover. Gun out, literally putting rounds down on this corner to cover a really big open bit of ground while the other player was beginning to flank. Like, they clearly played together a lot. They kind of understood that dynamic of the movement. And I kind of wanted to say to him, like, where the fuck is your team? Like, why are they not there with you? Why are they not, like, kind of driving that kind of goal together? It just felt a bit weird. And like I say, we've been there in the team stuff before. I think the biggest realization I had, this was before me and Richie would probably spoke as much as we do now, or we're as friends as we are now. But like, I remember sitting back and looking at the guys that were like sat on their bunks, fucking deflated, looked fucking pissed off. One of them was saying he's got a headache. One of them was saying this. One of them was saying that. We got the opportunity to go and do a hit, and they just sat there. And the guys that went out for that to do that hit was me, Richie, and I think maybe one or two others out of a group of maybe about 11 or 12. And it was that I thought, fuck me, I'm paying all of this money. I'm doing all of this traveling. I'm getting all of this fucking gear and kit and all these other things. I'm trying to build this reputation. I'm trying to show the Sterling staff and the management team that I'm willing to go out and do these harder knocks and do all this shit. And then the rest of the team sat there with their fucking head in their hands. It was at that moment I remember, thinking to myself, fuck this, I am like out. Like, I totally, to Richie's point, like, I need to be with people that are pulling me up rather than people that go, oh yeah, no, do you know what, mate, I don't really fancy it. You're like, you've got the opportunity to go and do a hard knock on a fucking MOD site in the middle of the night with all of our Gucci shit that we've got on, and you just don't fancy it. It's like, fucking come on. I don't think skirmishing is the same thing, but there is a little bit of mentality that me thinks, well, if you're not going to do it here and you're not going to back them here, are you going to back them at 3 o'clock in the morning? Do you know what I mean? Hard knock when, Ben comes rattling in and goes, boys, got 5 minutes. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, obviously we learned the hard way, rolling with a few different teams, but in the end, mate, there are only two, just two.
Yeah, it's true. Do you know what? There's some really great people out there. Like fucking Bulldozer's such a good lad. Like, I was having a good gas with him, and like some other characters, Alex Gilly and Chloe and Jack. Like, there's and like the Houghtons. Like, there's so many good people that were there on the day that I had such a fucking good laugh with, and they were all out just absolutely having it. It was awesome.
Yeah. Can we just obviously like point out the fact that in that video right at the end, like, you can't see it because it's obviously behind me, but one of the Hammond lads, can't remember which one it is, collapsed me like in the arse cheek with his pistol, mate, and it hurt like a bitch, mate. It hurt. I was like, but you know what? It made me more jump than anything else. You go, whoa, yeah, man. It was, but it's stuff like that, it it doesn't have to be about push the front, elite kills, elite, kills. It's a good laugh, man. It is. I did have such a blast that day. Such a good laugh.
I know. I was having a bit of a rip when I was talking to the boys about the two Houghtons about the gun, and they were on the opposite team, and I was like, if you get clapped with a fucking gun that's like not even worth half of what the optic is that's on it, I said I'm going to piss myself laughing. So we get to this opportunity where I can see him behind this like blue 206 or something like, and he's having a firefight with someone, which obviously I found out was you. And I didn't realise that, but I fucking seen him putting his rounds out, and he's fucking ducked down behind the car, and he's come back up to put some rounds out, and I'm like, it is time to shine. Leant out, and literally, I don't know what part of the engagement you two were having, but I've seen him stand to start putting rounds back at you, I think. And as he's done that, I've put 4 or 5 rounds out, and then I've seen his arm go up just to say, yeah. And just as it's going up, I'm like hanging out the window going, bah! Bah! It was really cool. Like, took it like a champ. Them guys are such a good crack. I think that's what made it for me. Like, yeah, the weather was great. It ended up being a really fun day, but everyone was just having such a laugh. Like, there was so much like good banter that day. Like, there was hardly any negative sort of energy. It was, it was good fun. Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was good. James said, yeah, that was his favourite shot of the day. So it was clearly him that shot you in the arse. It was amazing, mate. Because actually, I'm blaming you for this, Tim. Right? I'll take it. I had the left door covered. It was your job to cover the right, so it's your fault. I was dead. But no, I was dead at that point because I thought to myself, why the fuck am I not covering that other door? But I'm not even in the shot. I think I don't know if it was a bang kill or something, but I remember standing outside being dead, waiting for the rest of the action to play out. And I saw you get shot, and I think that was at Index because I remember seeing the Houghton's, they come out of the kill house and we were having a gas. Like, it was a really, really fun day. Like, I can't fault any of it. Yeah, I think that was it, right? It was fun, just good fun, mate. Like, we went in, we went hard, and we absolutely stacked that day. But which is fine. But likewise, mate, we got clapped up. I got hit with some really, really nice shots. I think it was one. I was in the top container, and again, just not paying attention, mate. I'm turning around to talk to someone, and the guy like down there has just gone, boop, boop, like put 2 rounds in, or bing, bing. Oh, lucky that was off the lid. And I was like, mate, good, like cracking shot. Yeah. Yeah, so, I got hit with a couple of belters, mate. I mean, like a mistake that I made, there was like a doorway to my left and I was shooting out of the window. And to get more of an angle on the doorway, I've just taken 1 step back, which is exposed like literally like that half of me to the doorway. And I've got a bruise somewhere on his, like just a single shot. So it must have been a sniper or someone. I don't know if it's Alex or so. But literally 1 round, whack, like right in the soft bit on the side. And I was like, I was with Ross, actually, Gunnar Ross. And I was just remember crouched down. I was like, he's like, do you want me to medic you? And I was like, not yet. Just give me a minute. Like, but I got a couple of belters in the containers. We were having a tear up with a couple of lads. I think that was Ross as well, me. One of the lads from Taskforce Bravo really pushed across that bridge, started having a bit of a clap up. I don't know what side of my face it is. I think it's this side. Oh, shit, this side is slightly bruised. But it was a wicked shot. I didn't even notice it until the next day that it was like, bruised. But yeah. Bulldozer just put in the chat. I think his favourite bit was me like losing my mind when literally I've seen one of the Houghton lads that you shot, but just before you shot him, I'm like, ding ding, I put 2 rounds down and then magged out, and I'm like, no. So I'm literally trying to get a fresh mag in. I literally got a fresh mag in, just put the gun up, and then I've seen him put his hand up. I was like, you know what I mean? Oh, was that right? And that was the engagement when I shot him. Because he must have magged out, and as you stopped shooting, he stood up to start shooting. Yeah, that was funny as shit. It was a really, like, again, so much fun. But again, as always, mate, he was the furthest guy forward, and he was by himself, as always. He definitely said that, throughout the day, I think the yellow sort of dropped off really hard. And there was a few lads there that were sort of having a bit of a bitch and a whinge. Yeah. There was a table outside just where we were kitting up, and there was a few lads on it, and he was like, standing there giving it the old, I'm too big for this. I need to, all this running about ain't for me. And I was like, do you know what? And me and Chloe were having this conversation. And I was like, at that point, do you turn around to him and say, well, mate, if you run about a bit more, it would probably help you to be able to do this, like, rather than not running about because you're unable to. It's like, it's just a bit like this guy's there, fucking loads of drip. He's probably got, a 2-3 grand's worth of gun.
Yeah.
And then stand there fucking, all this running about is fucking bullshit, mate. And I'm like, come on, you know.
Just want to sit behind a barrel and cheat, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Which was a bit, again, the only sour point of the weekend, right, was that, and I only found out about that when we had dinner. Call sign BO1, what's up, dude? We were talking about you earlier. You'll probably have to watch this back at some point. But yeah, really, really fun. Kit ran out great. One other bit of kit, mate, absolutely commendable for me for that weekend was the Raiders. I've been wearing the operators and I ran the Raiders out. You can see them in this background photo here. And this is the first time I've run the new ones out, my shiny, crispy ones. Fuck me, what a wicked set of trousers.
Yeah.
Kept me nice and, like protected, whatever. They feel dense enough that if you cut through shit, I pushed through loads of bushes and like got scratched as shit. But my legs were absolutely fine. At the same time, like they let enough air through on that vented gap that you're not like sweating to death.
No, and again, mate, likewise, I found that all the running about that we did, in that day, and it was warm as well, surprisingly. That sort of bit of thin sort of flex material at the back just vented all the hot air out. But likewise, the knees were still thick enough, not as thick as the Raiders, but still thick enough to. So not as thick as the Raiders, but the knees were still thick enough that when he took a knee, he didn't feel anything. So I love mine. Absolutely love them.
Yeah, I must admit, mate, I was really impressed with them. It's the first time I've run them out as well. And it just, the whole weekend felt really comfortable. I think that was one of the main things. Like normally you come away and you like felt a bit off, boots were great. I'm sort of looking at all that kit now for like knowing that this summer is probably not going to have any of the bigger events. And I think we spoke about this a little bit already, but it's such a shame. Like outside of, the traditional big events, there is nothing of even worth sniffing at. And I know there is guys putting events on and sort of fair play to them, but I've got to admit, like, just the kind of setup for them to get me interested in just not there. Site looks a bit lackluster. It's a clusterfuck of individuals. The organisation just seems a little bit all over the place. I'm trying to like scope something out that's really going to sort of gauge my interest and sort of keep me excited. And I just haven't really found it. I haven't really come across something I'm like, oh, fuck, that looks good. It's like, being run by some, the teams are being taken up by people that I don't think have really got the experience to sort of manage something really well over a weekend, especially if it's complex. Look at some of the 8 hours shit that's being done and, I kind of speak to people after. Just, I don't know. There's nothing really at the minute that's got me excited. It's a bit of a shame.
Well, and I think this is where we're at, really, right? You spend 60, 70 quid, right, on a weekend, and that's base cost. That's not including fuel. That's not including pyro. That's not including meals like MREs. That's not including BBs and all the other stuff, right? We've had this conversation many a time. You're looking at sort of 100, 150 to 200 pound a weekend, right, for a weekender, with all your consumables and everything else. Because most of the guys in here do go in when they buy pyro wings. So you could do that and still have a really, really bad time, because of the people that are there, the event organisers, or which I found which I really enjoyed this weekend. You rock up, you spend 30 quid on the door, 30 quid fuel. You're going to throw 1 or 2 bangs. But obviously, we were using reusable pyro, so I know that negates that. But and you walk away, you still get your Saturday free or your Friday nights free. It's not taking up your whole weekend, and it's just stress-free, man. Just stress-free. Turn up, going as hard as you want or as little as you want, and still going, going Sunday night.
Yeah. I think like Scout just put in about, a meal sim, like a THG meal sim. I totally get that. I just would want to be able to play. My main thing at the minute is getting the nods out. We've spoke about this. Me and Brooksy, actually, of all people, that's just put in that. Thanks, Brooksy. Brooksy's put in a 199. Me and Richie will split that down the middle after tax. But we were having a gas about this, and it's like getting out under nods. It's really just non-existent at the moment. Yeah. And the other thing is the fucking event's got to last long enough for you to get the nods on, right? Many of events that me and you have been to, we capped one at 8 o'clock. One went on that night, but a load of guys left, and then the following day was deaders. We've been to a lot. Even the Defiant thing at night was bullshit. Winks and that lot got their hands slapped because Winks was being too rowdy. Can't see him doing that, but they were all in bed. We ran through that camp, took the objective, come back to our fob. Everyone from our team was in bed. We went out and done all of the other objectives, and then rolled back, and they were all still in bed. There's a part in that for me is like, I really want to get out under the nods. I really want to get out against some good people. And I'm not a sort of lazy sort of op 4 that's just going to fucking hide all weekend. You know?
Yeah. No,
across the country to go up against an op 4 that wants to sneak around and do a quick handshake, and that's it. It's that sort of stuff that's kind of off-putting. At the same time, do you try and squeeze something in local, or do we put a night event on and play ourselves? I mean, personally, I would hand-pick it, right? We spoke about before, and really trust the players and trust them through and through. Set the objective and then go for it. I don't know.
Yeah. It's tough, mate. It's tough because we know that the demand is there for a THG meal sim, but it's like I say, I'd want to play. And realistically, mate, as well as I do, mate. Look at Ruckus. We couldn't have played. We barely got time to speak to anyone. Because we just, at the end of the day, if we're going to be taking people with some hard-earned cash, we want them to have a good time. And have a good time and be honest about it, and not, go away from the event and go and say when we give a debrief, oh, there's a great event, lads, and then a week later go whinge to everyone saying, no, shit, but we'll see.
We've definitely got them, like we put up the other day, like we've got some stuff in the works, right? We've got Vanta to deal with, and then we've got some other events planned and ready to go. The only real hold up at the minute is me and Mott, right? Matt is moving house. I'm moving house. So
I'm not.
Richie's not yet. But
this is running house here.
Yeah, Richie lives in there. He shuts himself in at night. So that's the hold up at the moment. Once that's out of the way, we'll be in full swing again. But we can't do anything really until then. But outside of that, we do have a lot of shit planned. I'm just going back through some of the comments. Some of these comments are insane. I love it.
Mate, it's brilliant. I think Mondo's smashed, mate. I love it.
Yeah, Mondo's definitely been on the beers. Jack, THG Milsim could be mine and Chloe's first meals. I think you guys would love it. I think playing at night would open up a whole new world for you guys. It's, if you're willing to get out and get stuck in, and be a bit sneaky, playing at night, everyone sort of pushes on about nods. Who can really do some damage if you're just willing to go out and have that tear up. And I've seen and been part of a group of people with nods that get caught slipping, standing around with your nods up, having a gas, and being clapped up.
Stand around like throwing pyro into a campfire because you've either got nothing else to do or you don't want to do anything else.
Yeah,
and then get clapped.
It happens.
It does happen.
So there's a good future ahead as soon as we get over this moving shit with me and Mott.
Yeah.
Until that's out of the way. Richie, what's your plans then for next things? Because I know you want to get out in the truck.
Yeah, really. Well, obviously, depending on the weather. Obviously, I'm out this weekend because I know the weather's not going to be ideal. So I really want to put some of the kit to test, really, to see just how well it holds up in sort of the rain. Obviously, the cold weather we've done that. But yeah, overlanding still massively on the cards this summer. Yeah, out this weekend. I really do want to do, because the truck's pretty much there now. I want to do a walk around video. I want to do that. That's on the cards. Secondly, content wise, so that's overland covered with a walk around video, and I really want to sort of focus in on some of the products and stuff that I've actually fitted to the truck and how it's laid out. But more importantly, I do want to do a cover. Obviously, I know we've only used them once, but I do want to do a first impressions video with the Oxman Tech M32X. So a real first impressions, first look at what we think of these. So people, have had a ton of messages about it, both on YouTube and Insta. So just want to give people a bit of feedback about that. Other than that, what else to be up to? I think really, mate, for me, I want to really get cracking on some events. So whether that's Fanta, whether that's, Ruckus, Black Edition, as in like a night game, but I think that, the opportunity's there, right?
But that is the two that are coming, right? So for all the Fanta guys, there will be an event held just for you down at the quarry, and we'll put some details out of that literally as soon as I've moved, just because I'm waiting on my date at the moment. And then Ruckus Dark, or Ruckus Black, or Ruckus Fanta, whatever we end up calling it, but that will be a Ruckus style event just at night. Again, if you run nods, if you don't run nods, if you want to run big fucking 900 lumen white light, if you want to go out and just creep around with a laser, whatever, right? You can do it. So that will cater to that.
Yeah, it's the opposite of elite as fuck, basically. So, like, you don't think, if you don't have nods, don't think you can't come. Absolutely come. Like you say, white light lasers, or just, creep around in the dark, fall over, break your neck, what about yourself? What's really sort of your focus? I know you're obviously moving house is the big one, right? But sort of like channel wise and sort of getting out and playing.
Yeah, like I think going out at the weekend really sort of has kicked me up the arse a bit as to how much I just enjoy playing. And also a lot of the channel doesn't see that, because I've never done gameplay. I've never really debriefed on those events. Like, people probably see me on the channel like, holy shit, he's really different when he's playing, like bouncing around like a fucking crazy weirdo, and just sprinting everywhere and getting stuck in. Like, it really kind of ignited that fire. I come back, me and you obviously went for food afterwards. We had a big chat, and I got home and I sort of sat on the sofa and I was like, that was fucking awesome. I was buzzing, absolutely buzzing. Got some wicked kills, hung out with some cool people, had a really good blitz. So I definitely want to play more. I want to still do the events, but I still want to play myself. I do want to get a video out on this, and I'm probably going to do this in two ways. I'm going to do a standard review video. So that will be scale, weight, FPS, consistency, build quality, some shooting and all that sort of stuff, right? Like a breakdown video almost of this. And then I kind of want to do like Tim's impression of a 140 quid gun, or Tim's impression of a Cyma Platinum, something like that, that allows me to kind of reflect in comparison to what I've used, to just how impressed I was with this. Again, is it perfect? Absolutely not. Was it fun to use? Absolutely. Completely new platform. There's a lot to say about this gun. I think there needs like a little sit back, cup of tea, sort of 20-minute reflection video. I definitely want to do that. I do have new kit as well, like new stuff that's come in. Got the Agilite K19 over here. I literally just got comms on this today. I'm waiting for the rest of the bits to come for this, but
that is nice, mate.
Still literally got the label and everything on it. So I was just trying to get the comms and stay nice and neat. Bit of a bend here, but I just need to pull a bit more cable through. But other than that, the comms are nice and sweet. But it is lovely, like really beautiful quality. I've got that.
It's quite compact, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, way smaller than the T3. And then I've also got the new MMAP 3. Again, this is a new product from Agilite, with the helmet carrier and everything on the front, and then it's got the straps on the back. I don't know how well I'm going to show you this, but it is my favourite bag detachment sort of strap thing I've ever seen. So, see this little tab at the top? You literally pull it up like that, feed it through the hole, and it comes off.
No way.
It's literally just held on by that little sewn tab at the top. And I thought to myself, no way. But for putting it all back together and everything, that's it.
Right. I'm going to wear that backpack, right?
Oh, yeah, mate, you can half pull that.
I'm going to wear that backpack with you in it. Because I want to see how much that can hold.
Yeah, I just really pulled it then.
I saw that. You've gone like purple.
I know, pretty much. But yeah, mate, lovely. But this is nice
cool.
So it goes literally onto the back of the K19 or the K5 with the Velcro, and it's got the airflow panels, that sort of shit. So that's really nice. So I'll be getting them dressed up and ready to go soon. Right.
Yeah.
Comments, and then we'll get the fuck out of it because it's been long, isn't it? Mondo Shell Scrape. Thomas better than Jake. I have to go through these like in two separate areas for the comments because StreamYard doesn't seem to show them all. Right, guys, any comments or questions or anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah.
I'm jealous now, Tim. I want an AMAP 3. Yeah, it is nice, I must admit. I need to have a good look over it, but it is nice. Just the finish quality on the Agilite stuff is just, well, Richie's got a plate carrier from them as well, and it's just lush. Just the actual just stitch finish of everything is just so nice.
Yeah, build quality on it is really, really nice. You know, I've got the K5 in black, and yeah, it's really nice, mate.
Yeah, some lovely touches on this. Again, that whole inside is like the soft side of Velcro, which I'm not sure about, but I think I've got some pouches and some bits and bobs in there. I think it will go nice.
Yeah,
perfect size pack. You know, going out for a day.
Yeah,
on the ground. Take your lid, take your nods, take some other basics. Yeah. Tim, how are you? I'm very well. I woke up with a tash, so it probably won't be staying till tomorrow because I've got client calls tomorrow. But for tonight, it was worth it. Totally enjoyed it. You thought it was a filter. That's how good it was.
Because you had a tash and like one eye like a snake. I was like, what is this?
Oh no, that's just my eyes. Tiny, would you be up for mag-fed paintball game? Yes. We looked at mag-fed at the weekend, the first strike rounds. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. We were looking at them with your marshals. We were talking about mag-fed. We definitely want to give it a go.
I mean, I took a bit more convincing than Tim did because that looks like that hurts a lot. But yeah, we're down. We're down for it.
We both want to give it a go. Both definitely want to try it.
So basically, in the space of a week, right? We've ditched our PM super builds. We've run AEGs, and now we're ditching AEGs to play MagFed.
MagFed paintball. Them rounds look crazy. Yeah, we definitely want to give it a go, Tiny. That would be super fun. Yeah. So, guys, if there's no other questions, what's the MP5? The MP5, where it is the Cyma Platinum Edition, limited edition with a cross with Taiwan gun. But it is down as the 401L. They are out of stock at the moment. They have been out of stock for fuck knows, like 6 months or something stupid.
Yeah.
But yes, we would love to give that a go, Tiny. That would absolutely be awesome. Got some new guys coming in soon. As soon as they're in, I will arrange it. Perfect. Tim rocking the Bosnian knockoff Magnum PI Tash is exactly what happened. I love it.
Amazing.
Rolo solo. Yeah, so we're going to have some fun. Guys, in regards to events, there will be news within the next couple of weeks. I've said that before, but obviously I was expecting to have moved by now. It was an honour to meet Gregor. What a comment. Gregor with his non-existent ankles.
We had a great time with Gregor, mate.
We did have we had a good laugh. We got a group photo with Gregor.
He actually recognised you as well, which I was quite surprised.
I did carry him around for an entire day on my shoulders.
Yeah.
Me, you, and Brooksy in Hawaiian and like dress shirts, carrying a stuffed dummy around. But yeah, so in regards to Fanta, that would be we can organise it as soon as I've moved. Again, it should be in the next couple of weeks, and then Ruckus Dark will come probably the next event after that, and that will be probably a couple of weeks after that.
But likewise, I think we did speak about training at some point, so we're thinking about possibly putting on, a sort of like first edition training, basically, when we did our TXG training, a black event, perhaps putting on the version 1 of that again, for those guys that missed it first time round. But again, it's just a maybe at the moment. So if the want's there, speak to me, speak to Tim, just drop us a little message. If there is enough numbers, cool. If not, we'll just concentrate on the other events, Yeah,
a lot of people have said about training, especially coming out of like the whole COVID thing and people not playing for a long time and whatever. I think to get out and run some drills for the day, and also it's a really good time to reflect. And I think that was kind of not highlighted in when we were talking about the training. It's a really good time to stop and think and look at your kit and say, this is the shit I need to get on top of, or this isn't right here. This doesn't work as well as I thought it would, or this could be slightly moved or repositioned and all that sort of shit. So it really gives you that time to just stop and think. Whereas, on a skirmish day, the likelihood of you thinking, oh, is that perfectly right? Oh, no, you just fucking dash the thing in. So that'll be something. Where's your training based? It'll be in the south, so it'll be near Dover.
Basically, as far south as you can get before you hit France.
Exactly. Black events are live, 100% training day time. I'd make the trip without a doubt. Shirts, shorts, high tops, and micro rig for that Miami Vice versus Bikers event.
Yeah, why?
Themed games are in the pipe, boys and girls. V1 training, definitely. Yeah, I think we'd give that a go. For Jack, this is what he's talking about. Haven't got my suppressor on it, so excuse me, but yeah, this is there she is.
Nice.
My little compact gas wagon.
So see, mine is a not so compact version.
Well, it's because I haven't got the suppressor on it. Normally, quite a decent size.
Mine's a honking great big.
Yeah, I've got about the same then. The suppressor. Mate, looks good painted.
Yeah, man. This is.
Is that the original one with all the gubbins in?
Original, mate. This one's been to Copil, it's been to Seni. It's been everywhere, mate. This thing.
It's had some use. MP7s are fucking brilliant, Jack. You're gonna love it. They are so much fun. Right. Based in Southampton, baby. Right, cool. So everybody, thank you very much for joining in to gather us about Splatoon. If you haven't been down there, definitely head down. Enjoy the site. Run around like fucking mad for the day. I can't recommend that place enough. I will definitely be trying to back as soon as I can. Yeah, 100%. Right. You ready to squirt, my friend?
Yeah, man. So listen, it was good. It was good catching up with everyone. Thank you everyone for joining. Obviously, hopefully we run you through. Obviously, that gameplay video will drop tomorrow. Thank you, Tim. That's going to drop first thing tomorrow. So if you did miss it tonight, we'll be over on the channel first thing tomorrow morning. So hopefully, you guys, we took you through what happened on the day. We had an absolute blast. Likewise, just getting our feedback really on some of the kit we run. Obviously, some old, i.e. the AEGs. I know Tim's AEG is brand new, so mine was old. Likewise with the comms, the over-ear stuff from Opsman Tech. That was brand new. Super impressed with the build quality and the performance on those. So yeah, just watch this space really for more sort of updated reviews on those bits of kit, because obviously the more we use them, the more we'll find the good points and bad points, right?
100%. So if we don't see you soon at one of our events, then we'll probably see you out skirmishing and getting them AEGs out for tear up. So if you have also a good local site or good weekend site, something like that, please let us know. You know, a load of people have messaged me over the last couple of weeks, said, oh, you know, it'd be really great to play with you and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, let us know where you are. Talk to us about what your site's doing and what events you've got coming up. Let us know. We're always up for a little bit of a travel. So if you've got a good site local to you and they're up for doing some cool shit, then let us know. That'd be fucking awesome. As soon as I've moved, Bandit Date will go out, and then Ruckus Dark or Ruckus Black, that would be really, really good to get out and do that. Other than that, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, boy.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
In a bit. Right. Goodbye, everybody.